Good morning, Big Brother fans. It is Monday, April 1st, 2019, and I have not done one of these for at least a week. And so I plan to talk very briefly today about a little bit about Big Brother Canada, a little bit about Survivor, and a little bit about what I did last week while I was off the interwebs for the most part. I guess I can talk about, another thing. But, so, Big Brother Canada. I have not watched last night's episode yet. I know what happened, I think. I don't even remember if I know what happened, but the gist of Big Brother Canada this season is turning into the reign of the Pretty Boys. The Pretty Boy Alliance. So far, and this is spoiler alert, I'm done trying not to spoil Big Brother Canada. Not that I'm going to spoil it terribly here, but just so you know, it's been a run of Pretty Boy head of households so the Pretty Boy Alliance is for the guys. And then either they've been head of household or Chelsea was head of household, but she's been evicted now, right after she was head of household. And she was kind of aligned with some of the Pretty Boys, so that worked out well for them. And then now Sam is currently head of household, and Sam happens to be in a showmance with one of the Pretty Boys. And at least from the TV show, it implies that she's aware that there's some kind of boys alliance, but she seems to be not willing to do anything to get rid of that, to break up that alliance. It really looks like the consensus for most people seems to be that this Pretty Boy Alliance is just totally dominating the show, and that the other people that are playing are letting them do it. Based on some of their actions, they don't seem to be willing to try to break up the alliance. So it's a steamroll at the moment. I'm sure it won't end up that way. In the end, somebody will get broken up somehow. But so far, very low on the intrigue, the drama. So people are reminding. I'm saying, looks like I picked the wrong year to try to power through my spring break and continue watching Big Brother, but I have done so. So I am up to date except for last night's show, which was a Power Veto show. I did watch the double eviction that they did last Thursday. Watched that on the drive home on Saturday. So I got all caught up, and I was busy last night and I didn't have a chance to watch last night's show. So there's my Big Brother Canada update. Survivor. I watched last Wednesday's Survivor episode last night, so I'm up to date on Survivor. I watched the 2-hour episode while I was on my vacation. I didn't realize that I'd missed a week, so I watched 2 weeks ago episode last Thursday or Wednesday night. I was right, Wednesday night. And that's what it was. Yeah, Tuesday or Wednesday of last week is when I watched the previous week's show. So but I am up to date now. This Isle of Edge of Extinction or whatever. It's interesting. Again, spoiler alert. I'm not going to say any names because I don't know names well enough to say them. But the plot twists, as it were, I'm going to reveal in a way, and that they got the first 5 or 6 that were evicted and got a chance to fight their way back onto the game. One person won their way back onto the game. It looks like when the rest of them were told you get a chance to stay in the game, and you can go back to the island if you want. And we thought they were all going back, and then as it turns out that 2 of them said, "Yeah, I'm done," which is kind of interesting because they didn't get a farewell, "I'm done." You just saw them getting on the boat to leave. So they're out of it, and they are the first 2 evicted, and they're not going to be in the jury. So I guess we're not hearing from them again until until the final show. It was interesting. The fight to get back in was interesting. It appeared to be very close. Of course, much like Survivor in Survivor or not Survivor in Big Brother Canada, when they did a Power Veto competition where they ran around the little track and did stuff, you could see the editing that they tried to make it seem closer than it was on a couple of those races. By selectively showing somebody making rings while the other person had already completed them, but they showed them shooting them at the same time. I was like, no, that other person's already gone. So, anyways, you get the selective editing thing. The competition to get back on to Survivor, it seemed to be fairly close. I don't know if it really was or not. Hard to tell. It's all in the editing, as we know. So, it looks like it was. I'm still a bit confused, and I'll figure it out, or we'll figure it out. They brought in the 3 people who didn't, so it was 5. It was 6. 1 made it back on the show. 5 went back to Isle of Extinction or Edge of Extinction, whatever the hell it is, and 2 of those 5 said we're done. So there was 3. So those 3 walked in and were brought, introduced as the jury, but. Unless I'm completely confused, they get a chance to get back onto the show. So I guess they're just keeping them relevant by having them sit there in quote a jury position, since they might get a chance to get back on the show. So the person that got evicted on Wednesday, whose a name I actually do know but I won't say, will go to Edge of Extinction, and I guess compete against anybody else, plus the 3 that were still there and anybody else that gets evicted alongside them, to get back on at least one more time. And then Phil will probably announce that that's it. Not Phil. Phil's not on this show. I can't think of his name, but you know what I mean. Phil's doing Amazing Race. Oh, Lord. It's been a long, long weekend. Finally, what did I do this last week? I think I told some of you guys, but I also have another CarCast that I do, which is more personal, under my Indie_Mike Twitter account, and I'm not going to get into as much detail here as I will there, but just as the highlights, I went, I took a vacation last week with my wife. We went and visited one of my kids who is interning in Washington, D.C. this semester, and for college. And we just did lots of different things, went to museums and stuff, and I got on Friday, we got a tour, a backstage kind of tour of the Kennedy Center, and it happened to be with one of Colette's sisters. Sister number 1, as she refers to them. And so I got to meet Colette's sister. I did not meet Colette. For those of you that are going like, why not? Well, we didn't work out that way. But I did meet Colette's sister. So it's very cool. She's very nice, and we had a good time. And I posted some pictures of the tour. But it's kind of cool now that I have, for what it's worth, those of you that follow our podcast know, or listen to Ask on Periscope stuff, I've met Scott. We do our podcast from 3 different places. Scott's in the Dakotas, South Dakota. I'm in Indiana, and Colette is in Washington D.C.-ish area. Sometimes she's elsewhere, but she's all over the world. And so I have met Scott a couple of years ago. We met up one day when he was nearby, and my wife and I went and drove and met him. And I have not met Colette, but I have met Colette's sister now. So yeah, it's kind of cool. And maybe we'll end up talking about it very briefly in our show, our next podcast, whenever we do that in June. So yeah, I did that, posted some pictures from that, and then what else was I going to tell you guys? I thought there was one other thing. Oh, yeah, I tweeted about this since I got tweeting about it. So I had a team that was had made it to the Elite Eight in the NCAA basketball, the team that I root for, and I had no intention to going to the game. It happened to be in Louisville, but we're driving back from Washington D.C. We're in Ohio. My son calls me and asks us my other son, not the one that we were visiting, another son, the one that is already graduated from college and has a regular old full-time job. He calls and says, "So when are you guys getting home?" And I said, "I don't know. We're not sure exactly when. We're on the road." And he said, "Well, his friend who had gotten tickets, they'd gone to the game on Thursday, and after they won, they got tickets for the next game." Which I thought was just insane, because it's just, things ain't cheap. You ain't buying face value tickets. These are full on you're paying scalping tickets, as it were. He said, I've got so and so sick, do you want to go? And I'm like, well, that's a lot of money to go. And my wife's like, "Oh, just go. It's you can afford it." Or we can afford it. And so I was like, all right, yes, I'll go. And so I ended up meeting up with him. I get out of the car with I've been in with my wife's for the last day and a half, and jump in the car with him and proceed to drive to Louisville, and go to that basketball game. And go to the basketball game, and I got home at 4 a.m. Where's the face value of these tickets? Does it even show a face value? Yeah, there's no face value on it. I just pulled the ticket out. I forgot I had it in my pocket. So, yep. No price written on it. So I can't even say, well, these are face value of X. No. So that extended my break, my weekend. I didn't get home till 4 a.m. 4 a.m. Sunday morning is when I got home. And then I went to a birthday for a niece, and then, oh my gosh, I'm going back to work right now, and I'm already dragging, oh, this is going to be a long day. All right, but that's what's up with me. Hey, you got a long one from me. It was related mostly to Big Brother and stuff, so Big Brother and Survivor. And I will go into more detail on my other CarCasts sometime this week, probably. But you guys have a good week. I have no April Fool's jokes. No, not going to do anything. Now they started popping in my head, saying, "Oh, I hear it's going to be All-Stars." No, I don't know. I'm not sure when I'll do another one of these. We'll see how Big Brother Canada goes. And you guys have a good week. And I'll talk to you all later. Sorry, pulling into my parking, so gotta go. Bye-bye.